long. Visit saltdogs.com to get your tickets and unleash the fun.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you want to come and test us,
if you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music.
This is Mommy's jam.
Then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Okay, kids, Dad's gonna teach you how to dance. First, spread your feet apart. Then, pump your knee, nod your head, shake your hips, and bite your lip ever so slightly. Now, with one hand in the air, point at people with the other hand. I call that the rock star.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now, make a face like it just smells something bad.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is the Don't Punt Hour with former Nebraska receiver.
Throwing over the middle, completes the pass. He's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown. 45 yards.
And return specialist.
This time he beats the kicker and one more.
DeMornay Pierson-El.
Not only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson-El, but Pierson-El has confidence in Pierson-El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into Ticket Weeknights. Once again, Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. If you guys want to join in for the show, again, the Don't Punt Hour with the host, DeMornay Pierson-El, 402-464-5685, Starter Heyman text line. You can put a face to the voice, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and as always, Allo Channel 961. But let's go ahead and bring him in. DeMornay Pierson-El, how's it going on this Wednesday night?
It's going pretty good, enjoying myself.
Absolutely. And that being said, I think we'll start in here with some NBA. Because we do got the finals starting 7:30 tomorrow with the Mavericks and the Celtics. And I want to clear some things up. Porzingis will be available. I was thinking he was going to be out for most of that series, if in it at all, but he's actually going to be available for game one. So with that in mind, that's certainly going to help the size. You got somebody to kind of combat, Lively Gafford. How are we feeling about this Mavericks-Celtics matchup now? This was, I think, a couple of days we figured out Porzingis was going to be in there. But that's, to me, a big difference. The fact that you're going to have a mostly healthy Porzingis throughout this finals.
No.
Okay, maybe
no. Just because you're healthy doesn't mean, you might not be in game shape. We've kind of seen that before, throwing players back into the mix and, things quite not work. With the Clippers, Kawhi got thrown in there and it seems like they were playing worse. So with him being down there, I'm not saying being in shape and game shape is two different things. We don't know how, that will look like. Secondly, I don't think they have enough bodies as big men to, control or, give things a change with, how the Mavericks big men are. So, it's good to have him back, but if he's in foul trouble because you got 3 or 4 man rotation with, their bigs coming off the bench and starting, he might be out of the game fast. And it's, you don't want to abuse it. You're not just going to throw him out there. He's going to play the full game. That's not going to happen. So, when he's off the court, who's going to do it? Al Horford? So, with him being back and everything like that, that's good. But I don't think that, that moves the notch or, moves the meter to where I give them, I give them that the go ahead to win the series.
What gives me where I disagree is the fact that they've really been short with these series and they've been able to not have to force him in there. They even have to think about it. They can just keep him purely. So depending on how healthy he is, if he's, even 90%, 80%, 75%, that's still a win. That's an upgrade over kind of what you have now. You mentioned Al Horford. He's still a good player, but man, he's getting up there. he's a legitimate, true veteran. I mean, those knees got to be barking after those games. But, I mean, he's still serviceable. But, again, if you have Porzingis in there, that's really going to help you with the rebounding and defense. Because I just think without that presence inside, a team like the Mavericks that's really good with their off-ball movement, like that is going to be tough for the Celtics to try to deal with all night long. Are you still leaning towards the Boston Celtics winning this, or are you going in on Dallas?
Dallas.
Oh, did you switch your mind, or were you always Dallas?
I was always Dallas.
Okay, maybe I'm mistaking you with somebody else. I thought you were
I was always Dallas. You don't, like I said, I mean, you don't know what Celtics team is going to be. You know, they might, finally get there or whatever. I mean, they've been choking the last, past couple of years and whatnot. So I don't know, if this is, you don't know, which team is going to be up. And I mean, ever since the Mavs have played the Clippers, they have been, very consistent, very, overpowering. They handled a very athletic team with the Wolves and everything like that. So I'm not saying Boston doesn't have a shot. I'm just saying I don't think that they have enough firepower to get it done.
It's going to find out. I mean, this is kind of the make it or break it moment for Tatum, Brown, and company, because even though the right decision, in my opinion, would be to keep that group together, the pressure from the outside is going to be massive, and somebody's going to be landing in a different team with the New Jersey on. Whether Brown, I don't think anyone's going to touch Tatum. I mean, he's staying with Boston. That's their guy, no question about it.
Sure.
Where does Tatum rank for you, though? Like, is he top 10? Where does he fall in that? I'd imagine he's top 10, because I think we're in a weird spot with Jason Tatum when where he ranks amongst the other great players we have in the league right now, because he hasn't won a ring yet. But stats-wise, consistency-wise, I mean, he's awesome, but I think he's sitting there.
I mean, I like him, and like I said, I mean, other than I've said it the other day, with his resumes so far, like the only thing he hasn't won is a championship, and that kind of is hurting him right now. But I mean, we seen Steph, took a while to do it. We seen LeBron took a while to do it. Dwayne Wade hit it, I think, in his like third or fourth year. Mm-hmm. So I feel like he's right on track, which if they do decide to break up the team, if they don't, get it done this year, which would be crazy because a lot of people, a lot of superstars in the more recent, years haven't had as much as success as he has had early on. And they ended up, continue putting pieces around him to build things up and whatnot. But he's definitely up there. He just has to continue on, the same path as he's on, and hopefully, win a couple rings. I think, he's definitely in a spot too. They're definitely going to have to bring in, a floor general to control things a lot better. I think so. And I would hate to see Jaylen Brown go, but I don't think they're going to, keep both of them there. But I mean, he's done a lot. I mean,
this would be the year to keep him. If you were to make an argument for Brown, he must have been listening that one night, but he's been good.
If he wins a championship, like what's to say, he's not, the face of the NBA. Not to say that he's not now, because I feel like, he's one of the young rising stars. He's one of the first persons you think of, when you say, some of these younger guys and and everything like that. I mean, like I feel like, his name is in front of a lot of those other players just because of the success he's had early on and how he's able to sustain it over amount of years. It's not, just a high flying or this or that. Like, no, he's won Eastern Conference Finals. He's made the trip to the finals and everything like that. And he's come up short. And like I said, I mean, I don't think, this is the end of seeing him in these type of games or making it to the finals. But he's high up there, and I don't think a lot of people respect him as much as they should, honestly.
Yeah, I always do this exercise. Let's do this for the finals. Okay, and we'll figure out where the best players, the top 5 best players sit. I'd say Luka, probably the best player in this thing.
Okay.
And then this is where where does Kyrie fall in the mix? Are you going to take Tatum over Kyrie, Brown over Kyrie, or is Kyrie 2? Where does Kyrie sit with you? I think I'm taking Kyrie Irving. I think the best two players are on the Mavericks, 1-2.
I will go. I might put Kyrie at 1. Honestly, he's already got a champion. He's already got a championship. Plus, on top of that, they weren't doing this. They weren't doing the things that they're doing now without him. So I'll probably go Kyrie first, Luka second, then Tatum third.
Tatum third, fourth, Brown. Would you decide somebody else in there?
Yeah, no. Brown, yes.
Yeah, I think I have to go with Brown as well. Then you get to 5, and 5 gets this is where it's a little hairy. And this is why this series is going to be interesting. I think because on paper, the Celtics as a whole
are on paper they're a better team.
Yes. But then when you break it down to like, okay, who are my guys? Who are these guys that, your quote unquote X factors to go ahead and win the NBA finals? And that's why I start leaning towards the Dallas Mavericks. I'm going back and forth on this. Like, I think it's going to be a great series. It feels like it's probably going to stretch out to at least 6.
I think it's going to be over in 6. Mavs in 6.
Scott Foster's in charge. It's not ending shorter than 6. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be a short series. No. We know that much. But yeah, it's Scott Foster. I'll get the other name, and then we do got one from the text line as well. I want to get to, but yeah, I think as we're breaking this down, I think if you're looking at the superstars, you say Dallas has got it in the bag. If you're looking at just the whole of the talent from top to bottom and depth, you're probably leaning towards the Celtics. Coaching, who do you lean on? Mavericks?
Mavs, and it's not close.
Okay.
It's not close.
Mm-hmm. Organization-wise, I'd go the Celtics, but that really doesn't play a whole lot of factor. Head coaching-wise.
With the Mavs, I honestly, I think that's a draw.
For a small market team, you have an argument.
I think that's a draw. Those are two strong cities. Those are two. I mean, I think the Mavs are probably only second to the Cowboys in Texas, and I mean the Cowboys are one of the most marketable teams in America. So I mean, for them, and I don't think that gap is far. They've been winning, they've been successful, they've had superstars. Cuban has done an excellent job, with making sure that they're relevant and everything like that. So I think, when it comes to organization, I honestly think that that's a draw between the two.
Yeah, that's a good point, because being in Dallas, despite being under the shadow, which is very easy to do, you can be in the shadow of the Dallas Cowboys.
I would say they've been more successful, honestly.
Yeah, they win it. For one, they've been winning it.
They've won it outside of the 90s. I mean, so I understand, what the Cowboys was, not trying to disrespect them or anything like that. But I mean, you know exactly what you have with them. With the Mavericks, they won with Dirk. They've went and competed. Mm-hmm. They've had some Hall of Famers on that team, and they've been relevant. They went to the Western Conference Finals not too long ago. So I mean, they've done a pretty good job with reinventing themselves.
Yeah, that's a good point. You might even have to go with the Mavericks because what they've done in their area. I mean, they're one of those teams that's constantly in the conversation, and they, even without a star, the Mavericks always pop in the conversation. They're not like those as much as like the Pacers that people forget about at times that kind of break into the mix. But Dallas Mavericks always stick out. That one might be closer than I think. I think it's probably a draw. Now, I will say the amount of wins the Celtics have racked up consistently over these past few years, you might go towards them. But it's a good conversation nonetheless. Let's do a little more NBA, and then we'll get to this text, and then we'll throw it to break. And then I saw the text you sent me. I want to dive into some facilities, some of the best and worst facilities around pro leagues. And one, you can take a guess. 402-464-5685 in the NFL, which one you might think the worst one is. But let's do some NBA free agency. And let's try to find homes for some of these people.
Okay.
We'll do rapid fire on these first two because I don't think it's going to be too much to talk about. I think it's all speculation. LeBron James. He can re-sign or move on.
I think it's smarter for him to re-sign. I don't think he wants to rip everything up and move again. And I mean, where's he gonna go that he can contend?
The Cavaliers would be the only place I think you may be able to do it, but I mean, I think he's get rid of Donovan Mitchell. You're not getting LeBron James and keeping Donovan. You're also gonna have to get rid of Garland. Someone's going.
I think he stays.
Yeah, I think he stays too, and I think, Lakers, if they somehow got Bronny on the board and 55th pick, they'll go ahead and take him. But I think he's probably going to be a Laker till he retires. I think this is probably his last run with this team. It's going to be Los Angeles Lakers. Paul George, he can stay or move on.
He's with the Clippers.
Yep.
If I'm him, honestly, I would stay. James Harden is about to leave. I think you and Kawhi had a good thing there. He's been very, a pivotal piece of things. I think he stays.
Yep. I think that's the right move too. If I'm Paul George, I'm seeing James Harden hit the door. It's not like that guy has like a track record of winning championships, so I'm not panicking. I'm not panicking if James Harden's out. So I think that is one you definitely stay. Hopefully you get a healthy Kawhi Leonard, and I still think that Clippers team can do a lot of damage. They just can't quite get over the hump. I love the coach.
You got new facilities and everything like that coming, a new stadium and whatnot. You won't have to, share the it's not the Staples Centers anymore, the crypto whatever center.
Yeah, crypto arena.
Yeah. I think he stays.
I think he does too. So we got stay. This one, I think he's moving. I think this guy's gone. I think he's probably kind of burned out. Hasn't had some great seasons of recently, not personally and as a team. The Golden State Warriors, Klay Thompson. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent. I think that's a guy that moves. I don't think he's going to be a Warrior when we start up the NBA again next season.
I think Draymond leaves before Klay does.
Yeah, maybe. That's not a bad point.
Unless he gets, a crazy deal or something like that. So if I'm not mistaken, he's been hurt kind of the past couple of years. Yep. So I think, they give him a 2-year deal or something like that. They put, money in his pocket. They try and revent things, bring some new people in, give one more shot at it, and then go from there. So I think he stays.
Yeah, that's not a bad one. I think he's probably going to move on. I think this is the year, because if you do, for me, it seems like with the Golden State Warriors, it looks like they're kind of coming to their end. It hasn't been clicking for him. I mean, you lost in the play-in round to the Sacramento Kings earlier this year. It was a bumpy season to begin with, and Klay Thompson really just hasn't been himself. Well, I shouldn't say hasn't been himself, but in terms of consistently shooting the ball well, he has not been himself in that regard. So I think a move for him, I would like to see him. You could even put him on the Mavericks. I think if you can find a way to swing Klay Thompson and get him on the Mavericks, because also with that Warriors offense, it's so much movement. And he's also kind of supposed to be this 3-and-D lockdown guy on the other end. I mean, he's taxed with a lot, and I think it's kind of starting to show with some of those inconsistent shooting numbers. I don't think he's going to be becoming a worse shooter. I think he's 34 years old, and you have him still playing a 3-and-D guy on defense and running around like a madman on offense. I think he's just kind of getting worn out with Golden State.
Like I said, I think he's gonna stay. Like I said, he's coming off an injury, so I think dealing with that back-to-back kind of years, he might need a new location. But I'm not getting that. Like I said, I think they would part ways with Draymond before Klay. So yeah. I think he's gonna stay.
I think. I think if the Warriors got to choose, they'd probably, they might still keep Draymond. As funny as Draymond is for everything he does on social media, you can't deny the guy's still incredibly good, help defense-wise, and on offense, he just knows how to work within that Warriors offense so well. And he gets a lot of the quote-unquote hockey assists. He does a lot of the small things that don't always show up, but that team certainly still needs Draymond Green if they have any aspirations. And I know some people disagree, but you really have to watch Draymond Green.
It's a coin flip. I got you. Next. Who's the next person?
All right, we'll do this one. Let's go to Chicago Bulls, DeMar DeRozan. He's 34, about to be 35, but this is a guy that can definitely move the needle for a team that I think needs to win a championship. DeMar DeRozan, he's that guy.
I think he leaves. I think that DeMar needs to go to the Lakers, go on home, get one with LeBron. You know what I'm saying? I think he moves on. I don't know if he goes to the Lakers, but he needs to move on.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to stay with the Bulls.
No, absolutely.
Maniac decision.
No.
Maniac decision.
No.
This will be interesting. This is a guy that I feel like he's just kind of fallen off the radar. Gordon Hayward. I mean, he's 34 years old too. He's had a rough injury road with OKC. Haven't been able to use him. About $30 million is probably what you're going to end up paying him. do you see someone making a big move to try to get Gordon Hayward?
He was with the Celtics. He messed up his ankle or knee something real bad.
Yeah, I guess, let me find the full-on injury report. But I mean, he's been,
I think OKC are going to move forward with their young nucleus. They're going to build pieces around that. So he's going to have to find somewhere new to go. Now, I don't think he'll get paid crazy just because of, he hasn't been probably relevant, honestly, since he was probably with the Jazz, honestly.
Yeah, he had a short little run with like the Charlotte Hornets with LaMelo Ball, but I mean, he was not really, his numbers weren't.
I remember him doing something with the Jazz. That's the only that's it.
He was awesome with the Jazz, and the Hornets had never really clicked. I mean, it never clicked, and then we started to get on this road. Then it's Boston, and now he's on the OKC. But I'd imagine he's just looking for a spot that's going to pay him well. Teams are going to be hesitant. He's probably not going to get the money that he wants out of it anyways. So with that being said, I do want to read this text, and if there's more to the story, we can dive into it on the other side. But it's super cool. This is from Ellis in Illinois. She says, "What's up, Harrison DP? My kid rehabbed with DPE at Nebraska alongside him after he tore his ACL and you tore your ACL at the same time."
Mm-hmm.
So that's a real story. You guys sat there?
What's the name?
Didn't give that out there, which is fine. I mean, yeah, if you didn't want to put your information out there.
They'll probably there was a few people that was rehabbing around that time. So probably we had I think Levan tore his ACL. I think it was a soccer player. She was coming off of a couple ACL tears. So probably if I hear the name, probably more so than likely. I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Well, I want to bring the shout out because she says shout out to you guys, then the Nebraska medical staff taking care of you. Obviously, tough surgery to do those, but absolutely. So again, shout out. You guys can always text in. Someone said thanks for the tickets. Absolutely. Always want to make sure you guys get taken care of. So 402-464-5685. We'll go ahead and we'll throw it to break. And on the other side, let's talk about some pro facilities. Some good, some great, and some just downright horrible. We'll do all of that on the other side.
Power combo BOGO? Huh?
Yes, if you purchase an air conditioner, you receive a furnace completely free. At John Henry's, our professionals want to ensure you are comfortable in your home all year long, no matter what Nebraska has to throw at us. Call today to schedule your free estimate and learn more about the free furnace waiting for you. Give John Henry's a call today.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Hey, Nebraska! Register today for the 40th annual Cornhusker State Games, taking place July 11th through the 21st in Lincoln, Omaha, and other Nebraska communities. The Cornhusker State Games features 70 sports for athletes of all ages and abilities. Price increases are approaching, so register early and save. For details, go to cornhuskerstategames.com. Special thanks to Platinum Partner Farmers Mutual of Nebraska, delivering dependable insurance coverage for your auto, farm, and home for over 130 years. Farmers Mutual of Nebraska, always alongside you.
The dangers of secondhand smoke are well known. But what about secondhand aerosol, which is created when using e-cigarettes? Science already shows a secondhand aerosol can contain nicotine, heavy metals, and cancer-causing agents. Eliminating exposure to secondhand aerosol is an important step to keeping everyone safe. Breathe easier knowing the facts.
For help quitting, call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Drinking and driving causes serious harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. In 2021, 65 people were killed in Nebraska by a car crash involving a drunk driver. Do not drink and drive. By drinking less, you can still be here for your loved ones. If you or loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
My early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take, but it gave my mom and me more time to plan together. Talk to your family about seeing a doctor. Go to alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Be a memory for your grandchildren. Among Nebraska adults age 65 or older, 47% report current alcohol use. Drinking too much can cause harm to children, family members, and loved ones. By drinking less, you will still be around for your grandchildren. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
By their clothes,
their age,
the way they speak.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Bank Strong, and the Ad Council.
Do you need motivation to get to the gym on the weekend or even in general? Tune into the Movement Hour each Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. Movement Academy owner Robert Kuhlman will host the show as he introduces new ways to stay in shape. The Movement Hour every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host. Good morning, Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back into the Don't Punt Hour. Once again, Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. If you guys want to join in the show, 402-464-5685, starter Raheem text line. You can put a face to the voice, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and as always, Outload Channel 961. With that being said, we're going to talk about some of the best and worst facilities. And this one isn't constructed yet, but I think it'd be fun. We can look at a rendering and just grade this rendering before it's even built in the insanity of it all. So as I'm pulling this up here, we'll share my screen. I can't believe this. Someone put this rendering together and thought, yeah, people want to spend money on this. This was one of Northwestern's renderings for their new field. That's water. Imagine playing that in a cold, late football game up in there in Northwestern.
I mean, if that's what they want, it'll be a first. I don't know. I don't got to play there, so
yeah. My lord. I mean, it just looks ugly. It's from On3. Part of me thinks it's a joke, and I'm not kidding. Like, there's no way it's ugly. It looks horrible. What
they have now what they had was terrible. It was some Texas high school stadiums are better than their stadium. So we'll see. Hopefully that ain't the finished product.
No, they had some like previous renderings that looked way better. Basically cut some seats out, but make it nicer, which makes sense to make it kind of more of a dome. And I like that idea. Add a lot more to the environment, because you're right that if we're talking about some of the worst fields out there, Northwestern might be there. And if they go with the rendering we just showed, they might be number one on my list despite being brand new. I mean, that thing it's ugly. So I'm not sure if they just like lost some money trying to do that, and that's why they downgrade. But that's from On3, so it's at least a idea that when they put that rendering together. Give me your best pro sports facility first, and then we'll talk about some of the worst ones. The Raiders got to be nice now. I imagine the Raiders are like
they're between them and Dallas, the Star. Those two facilities. LA's new facility.
Yeah. What's the name of that new stadium? I'm blanking on it. SoFi Stadium. Yep.
Yeah.
And the Bears are looking, if they do go with some of their renderings, they're kind of looking for that same style. I think that's going to be a route a lot of teams do. I think that open window, having that airflow go through there is a nice option.
Between those three facilities and like stadiums, I would probably say those are like the best stadiums probably in football right now.
All right. And give me the worst.
Facilities or stadiums?
Let's just do facilities as a whole, because I'm going to read the quote that you sent me.
I would probably say Cincinnati, because Cincinnati doesn't have like any they don't have like a indoor facility or anything. Like, they're practicing outside, period.
You gotta walk across the road to get to it.
So rain, sleet, snow, they're outside. There's no, we're going to do, no, you're outside. So I think that what, their owner he's rich too, and they're winning now, and it's like you still can't even reward them with something like that. That's crazy. Washington, trash.
Okay, why Washington trash? I agree, but what's it look like from the inside? Make sure DP's gone. Yeah, okay, you're good.
I mean, he'll tell you. I mean, it's small. They still have an AstroTurf field outside. One of their fields, for what I do not know of.
They still have AstroTurf in 2024.
They don't use it, but I mean, what they do conditioning stuff on it and everything like that. But it's terrible on your knees. It hurts. It's awful. The building is small. Like it's all bad. Like it's all bad.
Okay, Commanders or Bengals? Which one? Which one's worse?
I haven't been inside of the Bengals, but like I said, you don't have an indoor facility. Like, that can't be good.
I guess it depends on the day. What the weather will tell you which one's worse, because you can't be inside.
Speaking from, I would say Washington. You go like 3 floors down. You get no reception. Halfway in the building, it's just awful. It's a dungeon in that thing. So I would say them.
Okay, and let's go with one. This is from a true inside source, a guy who's currently there now. This is his true feelings. And shout out to Adam Thielen, who's now Carolina. Because he was on a year where the Vikings got rid of him, and I think a lot of people weren't sure how well he was going to be, but he was awesome. Like, he was the guy for that team. So Adam Thielen, despite playing really well, he's not happy with the facilities. Quote, "We probably have the worst facilities in the NFL right now."
Yikes.
So that's Adam Thielen's take, and that's
the Carolina Panthers. Yikes.
While he's under contract, he says
that's terrible if your own player, says that. So I don't know what's going on. I got a few teammates down there. I can actually, give me about a day or two. I can fact check and see what they were. I mean, they both were coming from the Chiefs organization. I've been in that building. That building is crazy too.
Yeah, Arrowhead's awesome. I'm not a big Chiefs guy.
No, their practice facility, not the stadium. The practice facility.
Isn't that like outside the city by decent ways? If I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, it's right. It's right behind the stadium.
Okay, so no, I'm thinking of it completely wrong then.
So wherever their stadium is now, if you look like past it, there's another way to get over to their practice facility. So it's not far at all.
Okay, so that one's top notch. Yeah, the Chiefs got it. Chiefs are killing it.
The Dolphins facility, that's crazy. I've been in their facility. Nice.
Okay. I can see that.
The
Bears? Where do the Bears rank? Personally, selfishly, where do the Bears rank? Soldier Field, it's ugly. I'm gonna be honest, it's ugly.
I feel like, but it's a staple though. I mean, it's right on the outside of the city. Like, you have the backdrop of the city behind you. I like Soldier Field. Like, it's not bad.
Okay. The facilities then. Where are the facilities? From what you've heard.
They're not bad. They're a little bit small. I mean, they did have, the FBI raid them. The coach. So I mean, that was terrible. I didn't know what was going on with that. But it's a little bit smaller, but I mean everything is there. They have an indoor and outdoor. They have, I think, 4 fields, cold tubs, steam room, sauna in there. I haven't heard anything bad from all the people that I know that have come through that organization.
Yeah, you don't hear a lot of terrible things. Honestly, the more you hear of negative, it's usually the fans. Fans just think the stadium's ugly. That's really about the worst you hear from the Bears. You don't hear negative things about facilities. You at least got real grass on Soldier Field. That's always a plus.
That's a plus.
It's probably why players don't mind playing up in Soldier Field. It's like, if it's going to be cold, at least we got real grass we can land on. What about NBA? I will say, at one point in time, the Golden State Warriors, when they were in Oakland.
Oracle was crazy. Oracle was crazy. I went to a couple Warrior games when the Raiders were still out there. When they had KD on the team, it was nuts. It was crazy.
I do want to get this text in here because this is hilarious. John and Cortland, when we were talking about Northwestern and their renderings and the domes, I missed this one. He said Northwestern would rather put a dome on the business and law school. He's not wrong. Hey, you know what? Take pride in your academics. Put a dome over the law school and business college.
Man, I wouldn't be surprised. That would be a Northwestern thing to do.
And I tell you what, if I was trying to be a lawyer, I'd head straight to the dome, man. Let's go to the
study dome.
But yeah, Oracle Arena. Location wise, it was a rough spot. It was, if you were caught after a game, you're not in a good spot to be in. I mean, it's just your word. It was a rough part of Oakland.
Yeah, it's right on the hood. The hood is literally right behind it. All the athletic. RIP to that site because all 3 teams are moved now.
Yeah,
the A's are gone, Raiders are gone, and the Warriors are gone. When Chicago had D Rose. That was an electric building, just because of the tradition with Michael and the Bulls and everything there. So when Chicago is good, I think they have an electrified facility. If the Knicks are good,
this one I'm curious. DP's take on this always surprises me. He thinks it's trash.
The Garden,
historically amazing. How it's today getting around more of like the small nuances, things in the middle, like as for fan experience.
Probably okay.
That's kind of where it falls.
I would say it's a lot going on there, and they're probably hanging their hat on it just being the Garden. I went to a couple games. I thought it was smooth. I'm trying to think who else has like a hostile environment. Or
I'll give it to the Pacers. I'm blanking on what the name of the arena is called right now, but Pacers, that place gets going. I mean, it's a nice facility. It's kind of surprising how well they do there, and it looks nice. I'm not a big fan of the color scheme, but the arena in itself, the fan base, it's pretty electric environment. Los Angeles Lakers are there. I mean, they're just going to be there. There's no question. Just the purple and gold, it sticks on TV. It's always going to stick.
We'll see. I mean, you can say the same thing about what Boston and just Boston being Boston.
Yeah.
So, I was trying to not pick, those type of places. When it was like Kobe's last game or something like that, or when it's a big game, yeah, like LA can get rowdy. So I'll give you that one. That's a good one.
Yep. They don't show up till like second quarter though.
That's fine.
That LA traffic. It's not because they don't want to be there. It's getting there. It's a nightmare. I've got another text on Philly. That's a good one. Absolutely. Philadelphia. They booed Kobe, the hometown kid, when he played his first game down in Philadelphia. I mean, that is a hostile environment. They bring it.
I've never been to a game, but I hear a lot of people say a lot of good things with the bell, the ringing of the bell, and everything like that. So you can say that. To me, that it looks small. And I mean, they really haven't been great over the past couple of years. So I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, trust the process. Still going. As long as Embiid's there, the process is alive.
He might not be.
He might not be. That's a guy we could talk about where he might land one day. But what about Gillette Stadium? That's one I'm curious about from your perspective.
With Tom there? Crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
Crazy. When Tom left, no.
It died right after.
It wasn't the same. Like that's like you going to watch the gladiators battle. Like Gillette was a battlefield. Like you knew what you were dealing with when Tom was in the building. After that, it wasn't the same.
I can see that. That makes a lot. I mean, Lakers went through a little bit of that, but they recovered because they got LeBron in there. So they just immediately swapped out the fan base. I shouldn't say swapped out. Some of them signed off. They lost some, but they got all the LeBron fans. So they immediately kind of packed that place and it was electric again. One other team that I just had it on the tip of my tongue. I lost it completely. Give me one more bad or good facility, and I'll get it back.
I think the Houston Rockets facility I think their stadium has so much more potential to be good just because the city of Houston is a live city. They have a lot going on. And I feel like when they're good, like yes, but I remember when the Astros was winning down there, their dome looked crazy. Same thing with the Texans, but I just don't feel like it's translated over to the Rockets. Even when Harden was down there going crazy and whatnot, I didn't feel that same type of energy. So I'm shocked that theirs isn't a lot more raved and talked about.
Yeah, San Antonio, they're sitting neutral.
It's boring.
Just a shout out to San Antonio though for getting it done.
It's boring. I've been to a couple games down there. I was just like, yeah, no, it wasn't fun.
Yeah. No, I mean that's how you felt playing them too. Having Tim Duncan just kill you with the fundamentals wasn't fun, but I mean it was effective as hell. Shout out to that. They sit there just because they're so loyal. Spurs fans are
They are.
So I always want to shout out people with the fan bases like that. The one I wanted to ask you about, the coldest place to play, Buffalo. What's that like? Going to Buffalo, and it's late. It's going to be a cold game heading down to Buffalo, potential blizzard the day before. What's that like?
I'm trying to think between there, like Lambeau gets real cold.
Yeah.
I think Buffalo has it edged out by a little bit. But I mean it's a menace. It is like it's not fun. The wind is awful. It feels like everything's not working. The fans talk crazy to you. They're throwing snowballs at you. Like they're ruthless. They might have some of the worst fans, to go and travel to.
Yeah. Well, the worst part is
a lot of people say a lot of stuff about the Raiders and whatnot, but Buffalo's fan base is up there for one of the worst.
Well, you're looking at the fans, and they're just wearing, like you said, they don't have shirts on. And they're throwing
tables with no shirts on. Like you have
volunteering to clean snow off the seats before the game, so they can make sure they get there. Yeah,
I think it's a turf field, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's a turf field. That's not fun. No, the wind is crazy. So tracking a punt in the wind, awful.
Yeah.
No, I'll pass.
Okay. Best home field, home court advantages, and we'll wrap it up. I think, honestly, you give it to Buffalo. I think that place is just brutal to play in. You can throw some other places, but I'm talking purely about I don't care about who's playing there right now. If we're just take the facility in itself or stadium, court, that's the most difficult. I got Buffalo, and then if I'm going the NBA, you're probably still – if you could take any, you're probably still taking the Denver Nuggets. Mile high. It's effective.
Home court advantage in football. That's honestly, I would say the Cowboys.
Really?
They always play. They're a different team when they play at home for whatever reason. Like they really don't lose often at home unless it's the playoffs. But typically. It's an electric atmosphere. It's crazy. The fans is nuts. I'll give the Cowboys nation that for football. Basketball, ooh, I would say Nuggets too. I've been to a lot of those games. It's fun. I don't even know the mascot. The mascot goes around. He's very involved. in the crowd and everything like that. It's a fun place to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cool city. I mean, Denver, it's obviously a beautiful state. It's a cool city to be in. If you're going to be in Denver, Colorado, it's awesome. And then the effectiveness of it. I mean, even when they didn't have Jokic, Jamal Murray, they were still winning a ton of home games, and they'd give up a ton on the road because that mile high, it really is that effective. I mean, you get gassed if you're not used to it.
Early.
Yeah, and we saw that a little bit in the playoffs, and then eventually kind of started leveling itself out. But with that being said, we'll throw it to break. We got one more on the other side. It'll be short, so don't go anywhere at the Don't Punt Hour. Harrison Arns, good morning, Pierson-El. We'll talk to you guys in a little bit.
Several irrigation contractors in Lincoln go out of business every year, leaving sprinkler system orphans begging for service. The folks at Judson Irrigation shed a tear for these little fellas. They've been coddling these orphans for more than 40 years. From redesign, repairing, replacing, and restoring, remember the Judson Irrigation Orphanage.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
My early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take, but it gave my mom and me more time to plan together.
Talk to your family about seeing a doctor. Go to alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Outdoors? Nebraska Game and Parks is seeking seasonal teammates. Work in scenic state parks, contribute to vital research projects, and care for our natural spaces. Seasonal staff assist with special events, provide customer service to outdoor enthusiasts, and make a difference for conservation. Join the adventure at outdoornebraska.gov. Apply online today.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired in cooperation with Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
That's a bad look for Mike Malone. When did the F-bombs just become an accepted part of our world where coaches just go to podiums and drop F-bombs? When did that start happening?
I think it was right after COVID.
After COVID.
Damn COVID. COVID-19.
Ruined our profanity, our properness in press conferences. Take everything away.
It was. It really was. We got that documented.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids. First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse. Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
$93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies. It'll be breezy and hot. An afternoon high around 89. Tonight, a stray shower or storm possible. Otherwise, clear skies. All that low around 57. And tomorrow, sunny skies. An afternoon high around 82. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Des Moines Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in. Wrapping things up with the Don't Punt Hour before we set you off with what's brewing with Chance of Brewington, the host. As always, he'll be joining us in the next hour. Shout out to Mississippi Mud Dog. He chimed in as we're talking about the Cowboys. I'll clean it up a little bit. It was fun watching the Packers whoop the Cowboys in front of their fans, though. You talked about it. They always went on home.
Playoffs.
It's true, though. I mean, it's weird. But since we have a little bit of time left, some quick news. Yesterday, I found out it is Boston College. That's the New Bounce school that we're talking about yesterday. So if you're wondering, for 10 years, 2021, they signed a 10-year deal with New Bounce. So that's information that we're talking about yesterday.
Portal. I'm out of there. No.
Well, for them, it works. They like the fit. It's a 10-year deal, so they must really like it or really trust in it. But I want to wrap up with this crazy headline. And this is, since we're getting closer to the football season, everybody keep this in their head. This is from 10-11. Shout out to those guys. Man ordered to pay $339,000 for selling fraudulent Husker football tickets to fans. That is insane. So if you're out there getting Husker tickets, make sure they're legit, because apparently someone got away with sounding about over $100,000 worth of fake tickets, or somewhere around that number. And a lot of it's just civil and legal fees, but that's insane. I mean, have you ever been scalped for a ticket when you were younger? Did you ever come to a Nebraska game or any games where you're getting scalped by tickets?
I'm not from the Midwest, so no.
No, but like in your hometown area, like any team, has that always?
No, I don't know. I've never, I would say, encountered that or anything like that.
Okay. Because I've done that quite a few times, and they've always been legit tickets. So this surprised me, this headline. But just real quick,
he must have, I don't know if he's been doing it for a year or 2 years or whatever, but I mean, you said to make how much again?
So he's got to pay, it's $339,000 total, $87,000 in restitutions to the victims of the Nebraska game day experience. So I'm assuming that's probably where they get close to like $100,000 worth of tickets that were maybe fraudulent. But the big chunk,
he had to be doing it for a while, and like that's crazy. Like they fell for the okie doke, man.
For years,
man.
For years, this guy was taking advantage of people just trying to get into Memorial Stadium just for them to walk up to the gate and get rejected. But yeah, so it's $252,000 in civil penalties and additional fees. So I mean, he's cooked. I mean, that's tough. That's tough one to get away from.
He's selling these tickets online. Like he has to sell them only on game day. Like you can't.
Yeah. Well, they filed. There's not a lot of information on it now, but they filed the lawsuit.
It's gonna come out. It's gonna come out.
Yeah. So 2023 is when they filed the lawsuit. Now sitting in 2024, and it's coming to the forefront. Yeah, we'll get the details. How long this guy's just been scamming the city of Lincoln. So if you're out there and you have a fraud, and you went to a game and it turned out to be a fraudulent ticket,
that's funny. That's real. It's sad, but it's funny.
Read that story, and if you've ever been affected by it, and that might be the guy that did it to you. It's in the name. I won't read it now because we'll wait for the full thing to come out to get all the details. But yeah, so that's a crazy headline. I want to wrap up with that because we are getting closer to football season. So if you're getting your tickets, make sure those tickets are legit, because we just had
baby StubHub. Get the tickets right.
So we're going to wrap it up here. Once again, this has been the Don't Punt Hour. Shout out to Morning Pierson-El. Joining me as always on time, 7 o'clock. Don't go anywhere. What's Brewing with Chance of Brewington up next. And then following that, the Malone Radio Show, and then the Doan Athlete Project. There's plenty left here on Ticket Weeknights. We'll talk to you guys again tomorrow.